is that saying? Oh,
She's a lot closer than us.
okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. 6:59, go ahead and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So before we do the consent agenda approval, I just got just one quick thing that I want to say. For those who don't know, Joe Dodge has left employment with the city of Juliaetta, so we are actively looking for somebody, and I'll talk more about it as we get through the staff reports and the additions to the employee handbook, but I just wanted to let everybody know in case anybody was wondering. Okay. So now we'll move on to consent approval and minutes from December. Everybody had a chance to read them.
You ready? Yeah. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of December 9th, 2025 and approve the payables for December 2025.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Motion passes. I would also like to thank Jeff for helping us out this year and coming down and going through the IT stuff with us for one last thing. Okay, you want to pass that down? That's your signature there. You're free to go, Jeff. You can stay and watch if you want, or yeah. Thank you, Jeff.
No, thank you. Appreciate everybody's support. So Declan got Santa Claus delivered the Hot Wheels Ultimate Car.
Ah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty cool. So, are you ready?
Yep.
Bye, Jeff.
Bye.
Okay. So then we will move on to Cheyenne will swear myself in, and then we will swear 4 council members in at the same time after myself. Justin, pictures?
Yep, picture. Next stand.
Are you on camera?
I am on camera.
Okay. Do you, Nick Anderson, solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Idaho, and faithfully discharge the duties of mayor of the city of Juliaetta according to the best of your ability?
I do.
Yay.
Yay.
Welcome. And then Nick, can I have you actually sign this for me?
Oh.
And then Justin, if you want to get a picture of him signing it.
Okay, thank
This
you.
is just your oath. Perfect. Certificate.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick. Okay. Before I can stand up in front of Cheyenne, and we'll get the rest of the party going.
So same idea, guys. I'm going to read it to you. I'll have you say I do, and then if each of you would come up and sign this for me, and then I'll give you your certificate. I'm doing it all at once, okay? Okay. Do you, Amanda Fletcher, Rick Lawless, Stephanie Tackett, Eric McDowell, solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Idaho, and faithfully discharge the duties of counselor in the city of Juliaetta according to the best of your ability?
I do.
Beautiful. Welcome, everyone. Amanda, I'll have you come up first, if you don't mind. Certificate, very good. And then Rick, I'll have you come up next. Victoria. And then Stephanie.
Oh, I meant to see if Jeff wanted that.
Hey, come on.
We have name plates.
Stephanie. And there.
Sure.
We have Mark's iPad in the safe. So what you guys will need to do is go down to Computer Doctors in Lewiston, and they will, because that one still actually says Windy Dodge, like the emails come from Windy Dodge, and they'll get you signed into your iPads. You should be able to just access them now, and the emails, because the code should be the same for all of them. But then you can just go down there and they'll get it, so you can do the authenticator and get it all set up for you guys. Okay. Okay, one other quick thing I wanted to just make sure that I mentioned for the new counselors. If we're moving along and you have questions, please just ask. We'll take the time. Want to make sure you guys have questions, we answer them. We help you guys out. However, because I know that you guys have been to a couple meetings, you kind of have an idea, but until you're actually sitting up here, it kind of gets a little more real. So I don't want anybody to feel rushed and like we're not taking the time to answer anybody's questions. Okay. So now we will open nominations for council president. Every time that the mayor is elected, then there has to be a new council, or it has to be a nomination for council president. So whoever gets this one will be 2 years until the mayor's seat is up again. Okay, so I will open the nominations to elect a new council president. Do I have any nominations?
I would like to nominate Eric.
Okay,
I would like to nominate Amanda Fletcher.
okay. Any more nominations? I guess that's it, right? Okay. I will now close the nominations for council president. So all in favor of Eric? Okay. All in favor of Amanda? Okay. So I think with Amanda having just a little more experience and having done it, I'm going to vote Amanda. Okay.
Thank you.
Nothing.
That's fine.
Okay, so now we will move on to Dean Brown with corrective equipment. So we've been looking at upgrading our old water meters to digital water meters. So he's going to give us just kind of a brief little presentation on what he has to offer. And it's just a discussion. So if anybody has any questions.
And I just want to say, at the conference, Joe and I chose him as the primary vendor to start with, because what he told us seemed to match more of what we could do with our other meters and replacing. So that's why he's here. So.
Okay, so I just real open format. I've done quite a few presentations at councils. So really, I want to cover a couple of things, and then I really just want to get some feedback and see kind of what you guys are looking for. So kind of where I'm going to start is, I just want to spend just a couple minutes talking about meter technology, mechanical versus ultrasonic, and then I want to talk about some meter read, different ways to do it, drive-by, AMI, some different stuff, and then just basically just a little bit on software. But I just want to grab just a couple meters here and just quickly discuss a couple things here. So meter technology, and
You can push that TV back if you need to.
okay, just a little bit there. So I think you guys have something in the ground like this, a brass mechanical meter. Water moves through it, it moves things inside there. It's mechanical, and it's been been used for 150 years, reliable. But in the past 10 years or so, really ultrasonic meters have moved into the marketplace, which are it actually. There's nothing, if you look through there, you should be able to see through there. There's nothing in there. It has some ultrasonic sensors in the side of that meter that bounce a sound signal back and forth. And so just really keep this simple, a little bit older technology, not as accurate. This technology is very accurate. This meter can only register down to a brand new meter, about 1/4 gallon a minute is the lowest it registers. This meter here measures down to a 0.05 gallons a minute. So we're talking like a steady drip. Information we can get out of this meter is a little bit limited. It's a little bit older technology where we can get very accurate leak information, high flow, it's just a lot more accurate and can provide more information. So, basically, most cities are moving to an electronic ultrasonic meter and moving a little bit away from mechanical meters. And really, so one of the big things we talked about is just how much more accurate this meter is. Well, especially on that low flow side of things, when we replace a mechanical meter with this ultrasonic needle, anywhere from about 5 to 10 or 15% of the flow that goes through that meter is below what this mechanical meter will register. So what I'm saying is, when we put in this meter, it's going to see all the flow that goes through that meter. So that's just kind of want to, so I'm just kind of open it up from there. Just
Cost difference.
actually, they're about the same. Not a whole lot of cost difference in the price of the meter.
So then, do we just bolt the brass one in place, and do we have to change anything if we go with the plastic one?
Okay, very good questions, Mayor. So there's a couple of ways to transition, right? Because we're just direct reading a meter right now. So how do you transition? Well, ultimately, this is what you want in the ground because it's going to be more accurate. This right here, but we can take the register, these registers come off of here. In fact, I've got a register. Oh, yep, right there. So this register, we make registers that we can put on even your existing meters you have now. This is a radio meter that we can literally take the mechanical register off your meter and replace it with this. And this is a radio read meter that we can do a drive-by, or you can, we'll get into that technology in a minute, but it gives us the opportunity to go to a radio read. So when you go through and change out a meter, not easy to change out meter. It's pretty labor intensive. And so by just putting on that register, it gets you into that radio read system.
It's not a full, replacement. It's just leaving the meter that's
Yeah.
there and just screwing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you would just literally take that cap off and put it on. Probably can be done simply in like 3 or 4 minutes per meter. But the issue is now we still have a meter in the ground that is old. And one of the things about a mechanical meter is, as time goes on, it slows down, so it doesn't register as much flow, right? So now the customer's getting water that they're not actually paying for because this meter's just over time. And typically they say anywhere from 12 to 15 years, any meters in there start to slow down enough that anytime anything happens, you should be replacing those meters. My guess is I have no idea, your meters in the ground probably have been in the ground at least that long.
We have some really, 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 really old ones and then some really, really new ones. It's all over.
Yeah, so it's kind of all over the place. So I'm just throwing out some options on changing out. So kind of, what I would recommend is, hey, if you're looking at meters and we need to get into something that's radio read, because if we do a radio read, then all of a sudden we're getting into, just saving a lot of time doing that direct read. We can simply do it pretty quickly for, like only the cost of the register. The register's one of the more expensive parts. The actual meter portion of that isn't that expensive. But it can get you into a radio read system that way. And so kind of, a lot of ways we suggest is, hey, maybe starting with just getting into a radio read. And we don't have to do the system all at once. We could replace registers, but ultimately the direction that I recommend is going to ultrasonic meters.
What's the longevity of the ultrasonic meter?
Warranty on these meters, both of them have the same warranty. It's a 10 full warranty and a 10-year prorate. So they have a 20-year warranty, 10 plus 10. And so really these meters are really designed to last around 20 years, and then you replace them.
About the battery life.
That's the battery life. That's really what we're warranting. Yeah, but like I said, and then with the ultrasonic, it actually mechanical meter, there's no warranty on accuracy. It's That's what it does. It slows down. With an ultrasonic meter, there is a 10+10 warranty. It's warranted to be accurate for 20 years.
Okay, and now there's a slight catch, right? As far as the meter box lid.
Yes. Okay, we're going there. We're
Okay,
getting,
okay.
okay, yeah, we're headed there because we're going to talk about radio. So we kind of talked about options on meters, and I'm going to keep going here. And I just want to put out some information. If I need to come back, I will. Not a problem. And so basically, that's a little bit about meter technology. A couple different ways we can go into this. I just want to recap on this. We could put registers on your existing meters, which I think are census. But if the meters are really, really old, it's a replacement. We won't even have a register that fits really old meters. But ideally, even if you do this route, that meter is still going to end up needing to be replaced before 20 years because it's already an old mechanic. It's an older. Most of them are going to be a little bit older mechanic. And just my last thing on meters is, we do meters, everything 5/8, 3/4 is standard. It's probably what you guys probably mostly have. But we have even ultrasonic in up to 18 inches or something. But we have even a little larger meters that are ultrasonic too. So just we can cover your whole gamut with ultrasonic or mechanical. Okay, so that kind of covers meters. I'm just going to throw out some options on radio read. So a couple terms here. AMR. That's talking about a drive-by read, automated meter read. And so we have an automated meter read. It takes a laptop, and we've got a little converter thing that as you drive around in your car, in the truck, they drive along, and all these meters are installed. It picks up the signal from our meter has a 915 for drive-by. It's a 915 frequency, and you just drive around, and you have a map, and it drops as a little icon, and as you drive by, the icon disappears. You go through and read the whole route. If there's some meters that read, you'll be able to see those. And maybe there's a problem. Maybe you can't read maybe the signal's not getting out of the box. Maybe there's a problem with the radio, the meter. But you'll be able to go back and read those meters. We're going to talk about drive-by, but I'll address Justin's question quickly about. So my guess is you probably have cast iron lids on both your on most of your boxes.
It's kind of a mix, yeah, concrete and cast iron and some plastic.
Okay, yeah. So ideally, radio signals don't have any problem going through plastic. Pretty simple. Concrete, okay, but cast iron, aluminum lids, it's a barrier. And so typically what we do is we would go through and install meters and then see what meters are reading and what ones aren't reading. But my guess is you're going to have quite a few of them that are in the under a cast iron lid, so it won't read, and it'll require replacing the lid. There is options on lids, but most of the time they're replacing with a H20, which is a traffic rated lid. They're not cheap. Just be honest. They're depending probably they're probably $50 a lid, 50, 60, $70 a lid. But just FYI, it's not just put in the meter. We got to make sure the signal gets out of that box.
Justin, how many would we need to replace, do you think?
We don't have a lot of cast iron because they were kind of a more expensive option. So I would say maybe 30 cast iron. The rest are mostly concrete with a little trap door.
I can't remember how many total meters you have.
292 services.
Okay. So that kind of addresses, it doesn't matter whether we're doing a 915 frequency. And I'm going to throw out the other options for you. So doing a drive-by system, 915, we can set that up. We do it a lot of a lot of towns do that. And most meter manufacturers have a 915 frequency drive-by, similar to what we do. And then we have another option. Another option is AMI, which is infrastructure. And so we could go through and put in, we'd use a 450 frequency radio in our meter, and that radio signal goes further than 915, and we'd put collectors in. And I'm just talking about technology, this might not even work because I know you guys are on kind of a hillside and a lot of terrain here. So you'd have to put collectors in where that signal could go and hit those collectors. Um, the nice thing about it, it's a licensed frequency. It's a 450 frequency. It's licensed, so you don't get interruption from any other signals. But you have to put collectors in, and my guess is this. I don't know how well that would work here, and there is a lot of expense into that infrastructure. And typically for small towns, it's just not really an option. You know, I've done a few small towns. We did like Fairfield with an but it's kind of a farm country, right? It's kind of flat. They had a big reservoir up on the hill, and we could just hit everything with there. They spent more money than most towns would have. And so probably not a good option for you. But another option that really Master Meter has come out with a cellular option on this. And so it still falls under the AMI network. I'm gonna drop back to the kind of going back and forth here, but kind of drop back to the AMI. So we're talking about infrastructure. So we're talking about these meters can transmit like once or twice a day, and they hit the collector. There's no drive-by read in an AMI system. It's all that information is going there. So the cool thing about it is you have access to leak information. These meters, if somebody has a leak, within 24 hours that you get a leak signal, high flow, maybe a line is burst, maybe they've there's a lot of information that you can get real rapidly. Where on a drive-by system, you only get monthly. And so, having that AMI system is, so now we can go to an AMI using a cellular meter. And so now we don't need the collectors and that stuff here. But the problem is, I don't know what your cell service is here. Do you have AT&T?
Depends on what you have and where you're standing.
Yeah, and so I don't even know if cellular it would work. We can do a study to see how well it works. Currently, I think our meter uses an AMI, it uses AT&T, but I think they're working with other networks as and we'll be releasing other networks. But so now you have a little bit of you don't have to pay for the infrastructure, but now we're paying for for data, and so it's a little bit more expensive. But really, for a small town like you guys, won't be that much more expensive because of the way Master Meter has that set up. With just a small town like this, just on a drive-by read system, you're paying about $1,500 a year for software and annual hosting costs. With the cellular, you just pay for the connection, and so it's roughly around $11 a year per connection. And so if you $11 times how many connections you have, I don't think it's not $1,500. And so it might be less expensive even to go cellular, but the other real big advantage, if we can go cellular here, is the fact you don't have to have the read equipment to do the drive-by. Our drive-by, just the laptop and software and equipment to do that, runs in the $10,000-$12,000 range just for that equipment, where you don't need that with AMI because it's just literally sending the signal straight up into the system. So that was a lot of information.
What's the cost difference in the meters for going with a cellular versus radio?
The meter cost is the same. It's the cost of the radio. There's a little bit more. It's probably 10% more expensive for a cellular radio. Our cellular meter, it looks like this meter, but it's going to have a wire coming out of the side. We call it an encoded meter, and that encoded meter, it attaches to a radio in the pit. And so if anything goes wrong with that cellular radio, it's easy. You don't have to replace the whole radio. You just replace that. You don't have to replace the whole meter. You just replace that radio, right? But it's not a whole lot of cost difference. It's maybe 10%. I just did a real small system, and I think the price of the meter was around $400, where this meter's maybe just 10% less than them. Probably not 5%. We're we're at the first of the year. Everything that's been priced, we're just Master Meter's releasing their 2026 pricing. But so that's just a little bit of that was real quick. I just kind of want to throw that out there. Questions?
What are you thinking about doing, Justin?
Well, we were kind of thinking of doing the kind of the hybrid one to start off with. At some point, they're gonna stop selling non-electronic meters. Like I think Ferguson already may have stopped selling meters that are just the old-fashioned kind.
So would we want to still go that route or just try and budget for the,
Try and replace, use new
Yeah,
ones as we
'cause
go.
if those are gonna wear out and we can't replace them, then why would we pay to upgrade them? That's just my thought.
Well, yeah. It depends on what our goal is. If we want to save labor, save money, save time, save those kind of things.
Yep,
Um,
I think we want to save all of those.
Got it.
Yeah,
The radio one, the cellular one would involve no maintenance person at all. It would upload directly into the clerk's computer and
so will that
That
work
would be-
with, our,
Do you do work with Cassell?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the third thing was software. So we have what Master Meter calls Harmony Encore. It's their software. They actually just released a new version just a year or so ago, a couple of years ago, and so it's all new. Everything just loads into there. Lots of information. You can print a lot of reports, leak reports, what meters aren't reporting, high used. There's just a lot of things you can do in that software, and it's designed to interface with the billing software. So we work with Cassell, Springbrook, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just an interface file that goes between them. Yeah, and I think Master Meter has a very nice software, and it's way more than what a town like you guys really need. But that's what it is, right? I mean, it's really what we do. Their target is probably 3,000 to 20,000 meters. But I guess where I am with this is I cover Eastern Washington, Northern Idaho. I work with a lot of towns, and my core business is smaller communities. I mean, we do a lot of work with Potlatch, Palouse, Garfield, Lapway. We just we're in the process of installing Master Meter at Lapway, and they're just going with a real simple 915 drive-by. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there. But that's kind of, we deal with Spokane and we deal with, Tri-Cities and stuff. But a lot of my business is with smaller towns and understanding the economics of where you guys are too. It's a big expense. And hey, it was a little easier a few years ago when there was a lot of COVID dollars. We did a lot of meters, a lot of projects, there was a little more money. But this process doesn't have to be something that we knock out all your meters at once. Maybe it's just replacing, 20 or 30 a year, 50 a year or something, and we can always add those. It doesn't have to be done at one time. And that's actually one of the advantages of the cellular too, because with the cellular, you're only paying for that connection fee, and you're not, so if you only did 100 meters the first year, you're only looking at $11 time, it would just be that $11 times 100 meters, I mean, and I don't, I just think if you look, they're just throwing out some ideas here, and we did really have to look into this stuff a little bit more to see how viable it is for you guys. But really, the idea was just to throw out, kind of give some information for you guys.
Yeah.
What were you and the mayor thinking about? The drive-by, the
I
radio?
think the drive-by is where we were just kind of thinking was just so, it wouldn't take very long to drive around and just read them all, bring them in and download them to the computer and.
And if you thought there's a leak, you could just drive by more than once a month.
Right, probably.
Yeah.
The only probably downside to that is sometimes the homeowner, or you may not realize there's a leak for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they're like, your bill's $500.
I do get those ones.
Something's going amok here, so the cellular ones would definitely be better, but I don't know. Cost wise.
So
We can run some, we can easily put together some proposals both ways.
Is it
You know,
open?
and Master Meter's been really good to work with us on, with some of these smaller towns where, they provide some good discounts on software, stuff to get, and some of the stuff to get going in that systems too, so.
Is there, uh,
Well, is it $11 per month per meter
No,
or $11 per
a
year?
year.
Okay.
It's actually 91 cents per month per meter, which is 10 something.
Okay.
So we-
That sounds a lot better.
so we have a mix of meters right now.
Right now we have some really, really old ones. and
Are
some
they
new
by
ones.
chance, by any kind of luck, geographically?
No.
I didn't think so. It would be nice if all these were old and all these were new, but.
Yeah, they're just kind of.
It's pretty scattered.
What we would probably do is do the ones actually in city limits first. Because it's a lot easier to drive around in town. There's some that are way out, clear across on the Gary grade. There's some clear out Old Main. Those would probably be, there's only one page of meters where we have to drive that far out. All the rest of them are clustered in town.
So I know a few years ago, we had that big leak at the market and it takes a special meter because
Yeah.
it's so big. Is one of those going to be able
Yeah,
to
I think it's 1.5 inch.
accommodate that?
Yeah.
Something more along the side of. So one of the cool things is Master Meter even has a polymer meter, or a 2-inch meter, which is, for us, this is what we call our octave. It's ultrasonic. It uses the same technology as, so we have this, like I said earlier, we have all the way up, but kind of weird because we just have a 2-inch, we don't have an 1.5 inch, and but 2-inch is real common.
Yeah, it might be 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be great if it was 2 because this meter runs about around $1,000 for just the meter in a polymer, where it's almost $2,000 in stainless steel.
And so is the freeze stability better on the ultrasonic meter? Or-
So that's a really good question. So on your existing meters, this is what you call a freeze plate on the bottom here. And so if a meter freezes, that plate breaks. And if that plate doesn't break and the meter is damaged, that is actually, at least with Master Meter, that's a warranty item that freeze plate is supposed to break and not damage the meter. With an ultrasonic meter, just the way ultrasonic meters are made, there's no way you can put a freeze plate on there. So if you freeze this meter, it's most likely, it's probably going to damage the meter, and it would require replacing the meter. And so really, and it doesn't matter if it's our ultrasonic or anybody else's, most of the meter manufacturers now have ultrasonic meters, and doesn't matter if it's ours or anybody else's. It doesn't have a freeze plate, but just you'd want to make sure that probably a little extra protection. There is, I think there is I think you can get a cold temperature output out of that meter too. You can go into the software, but that doesn't do you any good on a monthly drive-by kind of thing, because it would be frozen long before that. But one of the parameters that's required for an ultrasonic measure is also is temperature. They have to know what the temperature of the water is for that. So I think we can also give you a cold temperature, but I don't know how accurate that is. I mean, it's accurate enough for flow measurement, but by the time it gets transmitted. So in AMI mode, that's probably something that's a little bit more viable than a drive-by mode.
So does anybody have any more questions?
What are you guys thinking about? How do you guys think about doing it?
Well, because we had budgeted X amount last year for some of them. We are heading back into budget in May. So I would say maybe get a quote, maybe call some of the other cities just to see what they think of them. And then we can look at the budget we have this year and how much we could, because I think we did 75,000, right? Does that sound right?
Sounds right.
Yeah, I thought it was 75,000.
We might have jumped up some.
So
I was
we,
thinking 60, but I might be wrong.
I mean, we can look at that and see if we want to try and do some this year, some next year, how we want to do that. But I would definitely call around, maybe see what the other cities think. I mean, if enough of them are using them, they must be okay.
Yeah. I guess we would just need a proposal from Dean on pricing, you know, for the drive-by system.
Cause I know we did budget some for it last
Yeah,
year,
we did.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I wanna try and move forward, cause it takes you guys 2 days a month to read meters, so if we can eliminate that and where we can make it so it's easier also to go into the Excel program, the more we can streamline things, yeah. That's my recommendation anyway.
I would suggest that we at least look into the cell phone options too. Cause that's a lot of gas, that's a lot of time, that's a lot of,
Mhm.
and just to be able to have that more real-time information when there is a leak or something. I mean, that's,
Yeah,
Mhm. And I believe AT&T works here.
yeah,
Okay.
AT&T does work here.
Yeah.
Just a little FYI, technology on radio read stuff has changed so fast in, 10, 12 years, um, even, going, most meter manufacturers starting to come out with their cellular master meter released a year and a half ago. Technology's gonna change. Maybe in 10 years, probably the radio reads that we're using now there's probably gonna be less. I know that right now that master meter is looking at LoRaWAN. There's some different options for stuff. It's just education wise, right? Just that there is on the horizon. There's other technologies, and I guess the only reason I'm saying that is if you go with an encoded meter, if technology changes, then it's just replacing that radio to whatever communication it is to also just, because we do like this meter, it's got the radio and everything. It's all under what we call under the glass. But if you need to change that technology, this is also, this is a 450 frequency rate meter. If with that meter, if you guys decide to change technology, it's required, it's through replacing the meter.
So can that one be read like manually as well?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I mean, there's a register on there and yeah, and this one, one of the big things on any battery thing, this one gives you a low battery signal, 6 months. It says, hey, low battery, and should have about 6 months to replace that meter. Okay.
So you were talking about reaching out to the other cities that are using it. I also would suggest for Cheyenne to reach out to Cassell. And even though it works with Cassell, we want to make sure that Cassell has not noticed like we have these amount of problems with it, or like, yeah, we rarely have problems with it. Let's get Cassell's input also.
That's a good
'Cause I
idea.
think Lapway was actually using Cassell too, and we actually just finally just did their software. They've been working with them they've had meters for 2 years and they've been real slow. But I think we just did their software stuff in December, and I think we're still working some bugs out of their stuff. We have we probably have 30 or 40 meters installed or something, and I'll just leave it at that. If they have it, they're moving that direction. It won't be a problem interfacing with Cassell and with any of the meter manufacturers, the main guys. So.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay, thank you for your time, and if you wanna
Thanks, Dean.
get with, have them get us a proposal,
Yeah.
the cellular way and the other way as well.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so, I did reach out to Eric and Amanda to let them know that, Joe had left because we were in the middle of transition council and Eric had these great ideas that I wanted to add to the employee handbook. I also want to set up a time where we can go through the employee handbook because it needs to be updated. But these two really stuck out as something that I thought we should have before we start hiring people so that they'll have this expectation when they get hired. And then we can take the time to dig through the other stuff and fix it. So,
This will prevent problems
Yeah.
before they happen.
yeah. Yeah, because the water license, I think it actually time-wise takes a year, but this gives them a little buffer in case they're, whatever. But definitely because we don't want to get into where it's being drawn out where they're not getting their licenses and have to go down that road. So if this is right out the gate, then they know the expectation.
Is it a year or 2
It's
years?
1,600 hours.
Which
which is less than a year full-time, but I mean, doing just that.
So they have other
specific.
duties to
They have
do.
other duties too, so it'd be close to 2 years probably before they actually complete their hours, for a one.
And currently, when it was the three of you, if Cheyenne was out or something, one of you would have to step in and cover for Cheyenne or like at the office or help with that. So that could impact your ability to focus on getting this also, right? Because it's taking away doing those duties.
Well, it's
To
just like
distract
all
from it?
duties, like mowing, anything. So there's a form when you apply for your license. I did send a copy to Nick, so he could look at it where it says 1,600 hours. But they make you list exactly the amount of hours that you worked on just water or just sewer.
And during the weekends when they're on call, those hours go towards water.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of the things that I kind of talked about with Justin and a little bit with Joe before, in hopes of keeping him, was trying to move Justin into more of like a supervisorial role, but also like a planner where he would be able to back up Cheyenne and help with some of her day-to-day stuff. He would be planning all the big jobs around town and still being out to help, all that kind of basically our backup. So right now what happens if we have Frank will help us out in an emergency situation. Joe did say if it snows 2 feet, or something, if we need him, he will come back and help, if needed. So he's under termination on the payroll, but he's still there as like a contractor, like we use Frank. So,
Okay.
because we haven't got snow yet, but there's still that possibility.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of talking to them about how to kind of make things more efficiently around town, because there's some things that Justin could help Cheyenne with. But right now, Justin does help Cheyenne and covers for Cheyenne when she's gone. So we're hoping that the new hire will have some basic ability to kind of, keep things going. And right now is our slow time for mowing, stuff like that, big projects. So hopefully we'll kind of get them more lined out by the time we get to those big projects.
My only thing with maybe more of the wording of like, that's absolute, like required within the 2 years, because as we know, if they're called away or they're subbing or just how it works, if the hours aren't there, if it's more worded like they have a plan of action to have it done within 2 or even 2.5 years. That way
Well,
it's not a cut and dry and having the
See,
plan in place.
I kind of feel like, and this is just my opinion, that we have it as a cut and dry, that if a situation comes up, we're obviously going to we'll know about it. We'll be able to amend it at that time. I don't want them to think that they can, just keep pushing it off. So that's why I feel that this is a like direct thing. And obviously if something major comes up, then we can alter that at that time. That's my thought.
Right, it's just like having that little, like, have a plan or approved or, like, because at
Like-
2 years, if they've been called away, then they might not.
So like what you're
Have
saying is
hit
like,
the absolute-
employees are required to obtain credentials for waste, water or water licenses within 2 years of hiring date. Anything beyond that has to be approved. We can put like has to be approved by city council or
Have
by
a
the
plan of
mayor
action
or
or-
something.
Correct.
Just that little thing in there that shows that there'll have to be an explanation why it's not happening.
Well, and that's something that we can talk to in the interviews or if it comes up.
Yeah, and so I understand what she's saying, but I think part of the problem too is that for me to have full context, I'll need to see the whole handbook to see how it's set up in order to understand like the parameters that we have set for them. Like if we
don't
have
have any parameters set for them now.
okay, that's
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah,
asking about.
None of this is in the employee handbook now. That's why we want to add it. And I believe, is Mark's iPad charged?
I think so. I think Joe plugged it in before.
I believe Justin emailed, so everybody should have the handbook
Okay.
on the count on your iPad. So, and we can, we do have the job posted. We did not put this on the job posting because I was waiting for council approval. But I did want to talk to this in the interview process, and I will have to call a special meeting. So if you guys, if it doesn't pass tonight, we can look at it at the special meeting, but I think this is standard boilerplate stuff.
In my opinion, I feel like, we leave it at 2 years. That kind of puts a fire under them. And if 2 years, if we reach that 2 year point, then we evaluate
Yeah.
why is it not done? And if we determine that it's valid reasons not to, then we
And
can
I,
address that issue at that time, but
Exactly.
we don't leave it open so that they don't have kind of that motivation to be like, I gotta get this done.
yeah,
Exactly.
and I do the annual employee evaluations with, I did them with Joe, Justin, Cheyenne, so I would do it with this, and this would be a talking point to see where they're at. And if they're not, need coaching or whatever, then we would coach them at a year, I would coach them at a year, and so forth.
Justin, you said do you keep track, did you keep track of Joe's, or did you just monitor your own and you left it up to Joe to
No, so
keep track?
the mayor had asked me to start creating a work list of daily tasks that we do. So I did do that starting in like July or August of
I think it
last
was
year.
August, September, yeah.
So I have that right now, everything Joe and I have been working on and the amount of time. And we kind of used to do that for Bonnie, but we did it on paper. So going forward, I plan on keeping that work list. And if you didn't do that day, then you just go back and fix it. But then we can kind of have a log of everything we're doing for city council to look at or the public to review or whatever.
And help with street reports and stuff that we have to do, so
So
it would log there, it would keep track of the
Yeah,
hours
Right,
that
so
they worked at
you
the
or
sewer
whoever
plant.
would know that he's the person's on track. So it's not like a surprise at year and a half, 2
Right.
years, or like.
Yep,
Well, and I feel like a year might be a little long for the first time to be evaluating where they're at anyways.
right, so
We're
we,
expecting a 2 year process. We probably want to be a few months into it, be
Yeah.
looking at like, okay, how are we doing?
and what we did with Cheyenne was a 30, 60, 90-day review, and then with the water license stuff, that's a very good point, Rick, that we would probably, Justin and I would institute a 6-month,
yeah,
and
probably, yeah.
every 6 months to track their progress on the water license.
And there is a test for these water licenses and sewer licenses, right?
Yes, and it's administered at LCSC. It's a proxy. I mean, it's all done officially.
And then there's a apprentice program, correct?
Yes, Idaho Water has started an apprentice program and they will do the training. The student logs on to the computer and does online training, I think 3 times a week for an hour each time. And then when they get done with that, they help them with the test and get study and everything, and then they just go take the test. And yeah.
Does the city pay for that or any costs involved with getting these licenses? And if there is class time, is that something that they're getting paid for?
The class time would be on the computer here at City Hall during their
During
work.
working hours?
During their
Okay.
working hours.
During regular hours.
Perfect.
And I have the paperwork in the office, but it said that the apprentice gets a bonus. Like if they complete the program, there's bonus money, like $1,000 or something. And I was trying to push Joe towards that a little bit because it sounded really, really cool to go through that program. So.
Any other, yes,
One more thing, with updating the handbook, I think we need to pass a resolution when we update it. So I would at least request before you have me start officially updating things, we do completely go through the handbook and finish all discussion and decisions on that.
so is this something that we feel we can add and then do workshops? Because I believe before we did workshops, and I don't remember if they were in executive session or open session.
I don't remember.
Because it was when we were in the annex during
Yeah,
COVID.
Jeff was here, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think it might have been open, because I don't see where that should be executive.
think-
yeah, I don't think so either. So we would, kind of like we do with the budget workshop, where we start that in May, maybe we could pick a night or do a half hour before, a meeting or something, just to have a employee handbook workshop so we all kind of look at it and get understanding of it. I mean, I wouldn't expect this in February. I want people to have time to go over the employee handbook and just kind of see what their thoughts on are changing. I was just concerned with these as far as trying to have these expectations set for a new hire when they come in.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I agree that we should try to have these in place before we hire the next person.
And I don't think the handbook's gonna take much
No,
changing.
I think just a little tweak.
Yeah, cause I read through it and it looked pretty legit, I don't see where you change much, if any.
Yeah, I think, yeah, there was just some, maybe, I think the verbiage is actually correct on some of the vacation stuff. We would just look at anything that needed to be updated and maybe if we wanted to change holidays of any kind, like right now we're open the day after Thanksgiving, stuff like that, minimal changes.
Last year, there was a meeting where it was discussed whether it was in the handbook or not about when the raises were gonna take place, the reviews,
Mhm.
and then you guys changed that.
That was
were you able
never
to-
updated into the handbook.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
that-
something that needs to be done too?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, that was just something administratively that I was gonna do that hadn't ever been done before. So,
Okay.
yeah, that definitely needs to be updated in the handbook.
yeah, I just remembered it was discussed, so I was curious.
So is that something, because like I said, we have to call a special meeting in the end of this month, that, I don't know if that's enough time, I would, or March, but just something, definitely this, but definitely want to look at the rest. I don't know how much time everybody needs to go over the handbook to see what changes they felt needed to be made. I know Eric's pretty up to date on it.
It won't take me long to.
I don't think it would take too long.
So maybe we throw that on, the special meeting real quick. Cause I would like to get this taken care of before we start interviews and all that. Okay, so, then I would need a motion to table this until the special meeting.
Make a motion to table additions to employee handbook to the special meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Motion passes.
Just out of curiosity, do we know exactly when that special meeting will be?
Yes, it is the 26th,
27.
27th
At 6:30.
at 6:30. Is that, I wasn't sure what your schedule looked
I
like.
think that I'm in DC. Am I in DC?
The 26th or the 27th?
6th or 7th?
It's the 7th,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Sweet, we're good.
Okay. We had to get it published because it's for a public hearing for the, planning and zoning. And then we have executive session for some stuff with Todd.
Good.
Okay, so we'll table that. So the next one is the authorize me to sign the Latah County Building Service Agreement. So we did accept them as our building inspector. We just forgot to, so they just sent us this because they were in the process of this. So this is the agreement that we signed for, if anybody wants to look at it, for them being our building inspector. I just need to be able to authorize to sign it to make it all official.
So this means for anybody that has concerns about anything in Julietta,
This means if they build something, they have to get a building permit for us. We then, Latah County takes a portion of the fee. And then throughout the building process, they have inspections done that are done by the Latah County Building Inspector. We used to have our own. From Winchester, he did us, Kendrick, and a few other small towns. He passed away, and then we had another guy. That guy decided he didn't want to do that anymore. So then we had a third guy, and then now we have nothing. So we do have Latah County, but that's just all that is they come down and, does anyone want to say it, inspect the buildings and make sure that it's up to county code, city code.
Is there any change in what we were doing code wise before? Or?
No. We have to follow at least the county's code. We can make our own better than the county, but we have to follow at least the minimum of the county.
Okay.
Yep.
and if we change any codes, that requires a public
Hearing.
hearing, yes.
Yep.
You probably know better than the rest of us.
Well, I've talked to County a few times.
Okay,
Make a motion.
Yeah, I was gonna make a motion, have you go ahead and sign
Okay.
sign the agreement.
All in favor? Motion passes. Okay. Sign this real quick. And then I do have the cell phone quotes. Inland Cellular is just, they're not really working well for us.
Yeah.
So on our current bill for Inland Cellular was 180. And that included the, what do you guys have, Clifford? Hotspot for the fire department. Clifford and I had talked about doing Starlink for the fire department because it would be more mobile. Although these quotes do include the hotspot, I believe Starlink was going to be $65 a month. So these are the quotes, and so you guys can look at them. And then for those, all those quotes are for cell phones because it was recommended by, I think Amanda talked about it last time, and I did check with Todd, and he did recommend that I have the mayor have a city phone so I can have my email at work without having to take my iPad. And then it doesn't open my personal phone up for anything. So each phone is, I think it says if we drop one phone down, and we could still look at Starlink, but it does show I think AT&T was like $30 a month for the hotspot for Clifford. AT&T was the cheapest. They have a lot of discounts, actually, thanks to our fire department.
Which one's AT&T?
So this first net
FirstNet?
is AT&T, this
Oh.
one is Verizon, and that one is T-Mobile. They didn't really put their stuff on there very well, so you can understand what's what.
And so AT&T is only 160
Yep,
compared to 300?
yep. Compared to also 180 that we're paying for Inland Cellular right now.
And, so we have T-Mobile, which is pretty good here. I'm assuming AT&T is probably about similar or is it
Yeah.
not? You know?
I have T-Mobile and my company phone is Verizon. I did have an AT&T phone and I felt that it worked well. Joe's son had one and didn't seem to have any issues with it. I was a little leery, but like I said, I did have an AT&T phone before, and I think we have X amount of time, like if it doesn't work for us, we can take it back. Yeah, AT&T seems to be, I think it's the cheapest because they offer lots of discounts for EMS and because of our fire department. I was surprised that it was that much difference, because that's quite a bit. I have heard on the private side, a friend of mine has AT&T for Anatone, and he said that his bill is this all the time. I asked them about that, and they said that nope, it's just so. Yeah, I was really leaning towards T-Mobile because I've had good service with them, and you get Starlink for texting, but everybody would be getting an Apple phone. And through AT&T iPhone, because it's an Apple thing that they'd use the satellite, they would get it through AT&T at no charge. So they would be able to, anywhere they see the sky, they can use the Starlink text.
I think on price alone, AT&T's kind of
I-
where you have to go as long as that is the guarantee. If they're not working, then we get to return them.
Yeah, and I would make sure that that's in there, because they did kind of talk about that a little bit in the email, and double check before when we go to sign up for our phones. And if they say it's all or none, then we would probably just hold off and revisit with the council.
I know I just switched to Verizon and what they told me.
Oh yeah, I've heard that a
It's not
lot.
quite what my bill is, so it's, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Actually, I have a friend that has AT&T, and he uses it in Kendrick. He says it works in Juliaetta. Nothing works at the casino, it seems like, but yeah.
Well, I would move that we, go ahead and go with the AT&T plan as long as we can make sure, clarify that we're locking it in and we have a trial period in case they don't function the way we need to.
Okay. Do we want to do this as one or two motions?
I think you could do it as one.
Yep. And then what about the mayor for
Get him a phone.
yeah.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Are you sure
I
you
would-
want a cell phone?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Number.
I already carry two, so I guess we're gonna go for three.
It's a ball and chain.
Yeah. I just like to be able to, like, if documents come in that I have to be able to get a hold of Stillman and sign stuff, because I don't want to take my iPad to work and then try and get my hotspot to work and all of that. So that's kind of why I'm finally decided maybe it's a good thing.
We'll get you a new belt that holds all your phones.
It's gonna be a crossbody belt. Yep.
Just Apple.
Yep.
Apple sells
Okay, so there's a motion on the table. Did you include for the mayor to?
Including for the mayor to get one.
Okay,
Get a phone.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Okay, motion passes. Okay, so this next one, we received an email that there was a whole bunch of extra funding for the sewer plant. We already have an overabundance of funding, and this kind of changes our loan if we take this funding. So the state is asking if we want to just say, no, we don't want it. And it needs to be moved to the council meeting, but I wanted to call Stillman, or, you want to call him?
I do.
And he's going to fill us in for sure, because I want to make sure that we understand correctly. Because it was another, like, $3 million.
Wow.
Yeah. But we still have to pay the original $750,000, and this kind of changes our loan parameters, which could increase our loan, which we really don't want to do.
Oh.
Hello?
Hey, Stillman, it's Nick and Julietta.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I was wondering if you could go over the authorization to de-obligate the SRF funding per DEQ suggestion.
Yes, absolutely. So that is funding that will not be used. If the city were to use any of that funding, it would be additional loan that the city would have to pay back, because your final loan is actually going to be with USDA Rural Development. USDA Rural Development will pay off $750,000 of DEQ loan. So that's the maximum amount of DEQ loan that you should use from DEQ. And then after that, the rest of your project will all be USDA Rural Development grant. At this point in time, you have a contingency of just under $2 million, meaning $2 million of funding that has not yet been committed to anything. We ended up with considerably more grant than the project needed in the end. But there may be some opportunities within the scope of the treatment plant to do a few more things at the end of the project with that additional USDA Rural Development loan, or sorry, grant money. But yeah, just back on the DEQ money, you don't want to use that. And so they just want to formally de-obligate it now so that they can shift it to another project that does need more loan. And there's no advantage to the city of Juliaetta to keeping that loan money committed to you.
Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay, thanks, Stillman.
You betcha. Thank you.
Yep, bye. Okay,
All right, I'll make a motion to authorize the de-obligate of the SRF funding per DEQ suggestion.
do I have a
I
second?
second.
All in favor? Motion passes. Okay, Justin, staff reports.
First thing I want to do is just thank Joe Dodge for working with me for the last 2 years. He has been an amazing asset to the city, and we were really, really lucky to have him. And I just want him to know that I appreciate that. I'm working on the siren, and so Joe informed me there was a fire, and the siren has had some issues for a while, and so I decided to just get it fixed. So it's $3,500 for the wiring. The electrician came and put a whole new control board in, new wiring and everything, and then we discovered that the actual siren itself is fried. And so the new siren is $1,100. It's just more, it's a siren, but it's shaped like a horn. They have a lot fancier ones that are, that start at $16,000. But I figured he said this is what other cities use, so we're going with that. So the total cost of the project's about 5,000 or less, which I figured we have budget for that. So that's getting fixed, and he will have to blow it, and I'll post on Facebook when he's testing again. We thought he was gonna be testing the other day, but it wouldn't work, so, um, the other thing is Matt is on vacation this whole week, and so the Christmas lights won't be able to be taken down until he gets back. But he has volunteered to take them all down for us, like he normally does, so those will be coming down. And then in Stillman's, comments about extra money at the wastewater plant, he asked me to keep a list of things that we might want down there or other things we might need, a dump trailer being one of them. And I talked to the mayor about the roofing on the existing lab. It's not in the scope of the project, but they're building a new building with metal roofing. So I asked them if we could have the lab re-roofed with the same material. So all the buildings all look the same down there. So if there's money left over, that's one of the things I want to get.
Just to clarify, the new plant will have a sludge press, right?
And sludge press, and that's inside of a new dewatering building.
So what happens is, instead of having to shovel beds, it will push it off either into a roll-off box we'll have to pay a monthly charge on, or a dump trailer that we would just haul to, I think Clearwater Compost takes it. So those are some of the options